Well, it's currently raining, but I have planting that needs to be done. So I'm gonna try to get these things planted before the rain gets any heavier. Luckily, it's pretty light right now. I think we might have some thunderstorms later, but I wanna get these into my raised beds. So basically, I'm gonna plant the plants that I just got from Gethsemane Garden Center. However, as tends to happen, I always leave the garden center feeling like I have enough, and then when I actually lay them out, I'm like, oh, I should probably get some more. So I might do that today if I have time from a garden center that's a little bit closer to us, but let me show you where I'm going to plant what I currently have. Here's what I have so far for the center raised bed and where I definitely want to get some more plants. So I have the 4 that I got from Gethsemane. I have on the left here the fresco apricot echinacea. I have next the Sunseeker's Sweet Fuchsia echinacea, and then the same 2 over here. Now, on our way back from Minnesota, we also stopped at a garden center, and I got 2 other peach-colored echinacea. So this is Supreme Cantaloupe. There you go. And I got another fresco apricot. So I didn't realize when I got these that I already had one, so I must really, really like those flowers. These 2, we were on the way back with a very full car and broke the blooms off of, but again, they are cut and come again, so they will still flower. But this is what I'm thinking for this raised bed. So 2 pinks, the cantaloupe, and then the 3 peach, and I definitely want to put some more stuff in here. I do think I'm gonna try to sow broccoli. It's not gonna be enough room, but my broccoli doesn't usually do well anyway for me, but I want to put broccoli in the corners, or maybe I'll go for just some ornamental kale. I don't have any yet though. So I think we all have those plants that just never really seem to do well. So broccoli for me, I had beginner's luck. The very first time I ever tried it was 2019. I think I tried it in the spring because it's a cool season crop. It was beautiful. I had 3 plants. They all made big, beautiful heads of broccoli, got the side shoots after I harvested. And then ever since then, they've never produced that main large broccoli head. The spring, I feel like it's been getting too hot too quickly, so they bolt. Fall's a little bit better for my cool crops as far as like the temperature not changing drastically. So I'm gonna see how that does, but I'm definitely not giving them enough room or as much room as I should, but that's also just how I tend to be in general in my garden. Then in this bed over here, which this sunflower without any support is still going strong, which I can't believe. But I decided in this bed to go with the Autumn Colors Black-Eyed Susan. I'm gonna put 2 in the center, and then the Verbena on the outside. And what was, oh yeah, this one I don't think said a particular variety, but I thought the purple and then the color of the Black-Eyed Susan went really nicely together. And then in the back is a sad looking dahlia, but I'm leaving it. And then the Bonita Shell Pink China Aster on the left, and then the Tower Chamois Aster over here on the right. So I think this bed I might add some more, well, some pansies too once I get them, but not anything larger than that. Whereas this bed, honestly, I might get 2 more echinacea to plant in here because I can't be contained. And then the bed back there, I'm gonna save that for radishes and beets and maybe something else, undecided yet. Now, some things I do very differently when I'm planting my cool season crops in the fall versus the crops that I plant during the summer. For example, I am not buying anything else. So I'm not buying any potting soil. I'm not buying any compost. I'm not buying any fertilizer, although I think I do have still some granular fertilizer that I'll put in there. But other than that, I'm not adding anything additional. For the cool season, the plants don't get as large. They don't need as much space, so it's easier to put them really close together in the fall because they're not going to grow as big as they would over the entire summer. So even though I probably could fill this raised bed a little bit now that I pulled out the zinnias and the petunias, that did take a good amount of the soil with it, but that's fine. And I like having extra space because come spring, I will add compost to the bed to prepare it for my summer crops. So let's go ahead and see if we can beat the rain and get everything planted. planted, and here is where we are at so far. So in this center raised bed, I kept the front row as I thought I was going to. So I have the Sunseeker Sweet Fuchsia on each of the sides of the front row, and then in the center, I have the Echinacea Supreme Cantaloupe. And then I went for all three of the Fresco Apricot Echinacea in the middle row. And this one looks so sad compared to the other two, but it should be just fine. Then I decided, because there wasn't enough room for sure for broccoli in the front corners, I'm just gonna do 3 broccoli plants in the back row, because even though, like I said, they haven't done well in terms of actually producing a broccoli head, they still do produce really pretty looking leaves. And then over here, I just stuck with what I was gonna do. So the 2 verbena are on either side, and then the black-eyed Susans are in the center. So any open space here, I will be doing pansies when they are eventually in stock at the garden centers. And then same thing here, any open space, I will put some pansies in. Now I like the echinacea because they are cut and come again, and I like flowers in my garden that both look pretty in the garden, but I can use for other things. And pansies, even though I don't use them for bouquets, I love them to press, and I do a lot of pressed flower crafts in the winter, so that's why I like to have a lot of beautifully colored pansies. They're not in the garden centers yet, so I am anxiously awaiting, but hopefully just a few more weeks. But now let me go grab the broccoli seeds, we'll get those planted, and then if I do get any other plants today, I will show you, but I'm not sure if I am going to or not. This is the broccoli I'm planting. Again, I got these seeds from Gethsemane, so this is the early dividend hybrid broccoli. And it's full sun, row spacing 3 feet, don't worry about that. Plant spacing 1 foot, I will do that. Planting depth 1/2 inch, days to germination 10 to 14, and then 45 to 55 days from transplanting to harvest. So I'm gonna do 3 piles of these, well, 3 holes, spaced roughly a foot apart, which I think should be fine in this raised bed. So I make the hole with my finger, and then I'm just gonna put 2 to 3 seeds in each so that I can guarantee at least one of them hopefully germinates. Seeds are in. Now normally at this point I would water the plants in, but it is raining. However, sometimes, especially if the rain is light like it is now, it's not really saturating the soil as much as you think. For example, when I was planting the echinacea, the top of the soil felt a little damp, but just digging down here, it's actually pretty dry. And it's been raining for a couple hours, but again, just very lightly. Take the stem out. So I am gonna keep an eye on it. Rain is supposed to be getting heavier, but if like in the next few hours, it's still not saturated, then maybe I will come out and water with a hose, but I'm gonna leave it be for now. The rain is starting to pick up, so I've just popped inside, but I wanted to also share an app I've shared before that I find personally really helpful in the spring and the fall. I mean, you can use it all year round, but basically the app is called From Seed to Spoon, not sponsored, just love it. I think I heard about it on Instagram the very first year I started gardening, and I've had it ever since, and it's had so many helpful upgrades since then too. But what it is really good at, there's a few different features, is just basically helping you know your planting schedule. So for me, the summer season is really easy because I know that our last frost date is usually sometime around Mother's Day, so I kick everything out of the house then. But as far as my cool crops in the spring and then the fall, I don't really have those dates top of mind, and a few of them are different. So what this app does, and I'll put up some screenshots in this video, there is a free and paid version. I'm pretty sure everything that I'm showing here is in the free version, but if I look for broccoli, it basically tells me, and this is all based off of your zip code when you create your account, but it tells me, so if I was doing this in spring, it says indoor seed starting dates, January 31st through February 29th. If it was outdoor spring planting, the 29th of February through April 11th. Summer planting, broccoli doesn't tolerate heat well. And then fall planting date, so that's where we are now, is August 1st through August 15th. So I'm a few days late, but it was an early to harvest broccoli, so hopefully we'll be okay. And like I said, I've grown it a few times now without getting any actual broccoli heads on it. So even if I just get the leaves, which you can't eat, but they still look pretty in the garden. So I'll be happy either way. But this way I know, okay, I need to start planting my broccoli. So for peas here, it says outdoor fall planting August 29th through September 12th. So you can see that from there, it's not like all cool season crops are planted at the same time, and your varieties might be different, so do check the specific seed packet. But broccoli was first, it was the first half of August, then beets, and then peas. So I do tend to, well, like my beets, peas, and radishes, I'll probably start all of the first round at about the same time, end of August, and I'll definitely do another round of radishes because they are such quick growing vegetables. But that's gonna be everything I think that I'm gonna plant in terms of crops for the fall. So either this is the end of the video now, or I am gonna run to the plant store and see if I can grab a few more things just to fill out the beds. Because again, with fall planting, the plants aren't gonna get as large as they would if they were growing the entire summer season. So I'll either say goodbye for now and see you in the next video, or there'll be a little bit more here. It's the end of the day, and I did end up adding just a few more plants because it was way too empty for my liking right now. So I got 2 salvia. I went to Home Depot, so I stopped by a local garden center, but they just had really shrubs and evergreens left. Actually, it was Jason Home. So if you are in the Chicago area, Jason Home is in Lincoln Park, and they had hydrangeas, evergreens, a bunch of shrubs, trees, grasses. Everything is 50% off. That's just not what I was looking for. I just wanted some echinacea. But if you do need some of that, it's a great time for planting as the weather starts to cool down, so definitely head there. But now let me show you what I got just from Home Depot, because that was the next closest place. So I added 2 salvia. They didn't have any specific variety names on them, as I find plants sometimes do at Home Depot. So 2 salvia here, and then 2 more echinacea. I went for a pink color. So now I will have 4 of the peachy colors, 4 of the pink colors, and the 2 blue salvias. And that was everything that I got. So I'm still on the hunt for pansies once it cools down a bit more. And again, that's when I will add the blanket of pansies. And then there should be, hopefully, some broccoli plants starting to grow in the back there soon. And while we're out here, why not just do a garden sweep? Because it is very peaceful outside right now.